I'm starting.
Have we been on this whole time?
We've been on this whole entire
Oh my
time.
god.
Yep. This is where
Ethan has so much blackmail.
much
It's
dirt
not
on
even
all of
funny.
It's all going into the folder.
Let me tell you something. If you hate me enough out there and you want some footage of me saying some wild shit,
You can pay Ethan probably a good amount of money, and he'll turn us all in for sure.
I feel like this is a
Somebody
Black
offers
Mirror.
into the DM.
It's like a Black Mirror.
Did you guys finish Black Mirror?
I've
Nope.
never even seen Black Mirror.
Yeah, it's horrible this season.
It's not okay.
It's the
there
worst
was
season
one
ever.
Season
that-
other
I
than this
literally
most
just
recent one.
but I don't watch TV, so I don't watch anything.
Okay, you're excluded from this
I
conversation.
am.
then.
No,
Just
okay.
it's terrible.
Have you seen Interstellar?
No.
Oh, okay. You love space, right? You got to see Interstellar. Oh my.
What's
fucking
it
God.
on?
Everything.
I
It's
think
old
you
as
might have
fuck.
to rent it. It's with like Matthew McConaughey, Anne Hathaway, and it's about sending astronauts to space because Earth's water supply has dried up, and now there's like dust storms and all this shit. That was a horrible explanation of it,
Right.
Yeah.
but it
You
is
recommend it?
yeah, that was a horrible
Okay. Very
bad
explanation.
explanation,
But it is one of the best, most moving, emotional movies I've ever seen. I saw it on Shrooms. I started crying.
Oh my
It was
God.
beautiful.
Well, I feel like shrooms just make you cry no matter what, right?
Oh no,
No,
Shrooms
not
makes me
really.
happy.
It makes me
Allegedly.
laugh.
It wasn't like it wasn't like
giving me
a.
laugh attacks.
Yeah.
for sure.
It's giving me a laugh text.
Yeah,
too.
I feel more
Allegedly,
laugh
it just
attacks.
makes me all happy, and you just like even the trees are just like magical.
Are the
you
trees
know,
talking? Or the
Yeah.
trees talk to you?
allegedly.
I talked to a few palm
Yeah.
trees.
Allegedly, that's how.
Allegedly,
that's
the
how
wind
people
just gives
feel.
you kisses on your cheek, and you just feel so happy.
Oh my
You know?
god.
I don't know. I took.
I don't know. That's what I heard. I think I had a dream about it one time.
Definitely what happened. For sure.
I'm pretty sure if we go through Angie's camera roll, we'll find some
Something.
alleged video of you kissing trees. That sounds about amorous to me.
Sounds about
Yeah.
right, for sure.
So Black Mirror, you're not gonna watch it. You've seen it.
I saw.
Well, I hear
Season.
mixed reviews about it. Some people are like, "This season sucks."
This season
but then-
I know.
sucks.
I think the extreme that everyone's used to is not there this season. Right?
Yeah, I think Black Mirror. I think the reason why is now we're desensitized to a lot of the stuff. So I think when Black Mirror first came out, we're like, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Where they're going to have like a bring people back or AI because it was very heavy in
And
AI.
at
Like,
this point, it's like anything's
like that's
possible.
not possible. And then fast forward to now, there's like AI stuff that
Yes.
we really feel. So I feel like in the beginning we were so naive to like AI or even the way government controls us.
Did you see that in what Ethan probably knows, what country is it now where they're injecting that into
Switzerland. Was it Switzerland or Sweden? The
Oh,
palm
is
print?
it Sweden? I think they're basically injecting that. Yeah, they're injecting. So now you have everything in your palm.
That's
Yeah,
some new world
it's like
order
a
shit right there.
Exactly.
That's
to me, it's the
ID,
mark.
your wallet.
I just immediately thought of Mark of the Beast.
What do you mean?
Yep.
What do you mean they're doing everything?
So
with the phone?
basically, on your palm, it has like your ID, your credit card, like everything is chipped into your palm.
They've
No,
been doing
mean,
it for a
needing
while
a
now.
wallet.
But it's like where is it? But no, it's
Dude,
like
I would get that. That's exactly what I need. That's like exactly.
Jason.
I want my debit card here. I never carry a wallet anymore. And not everyone takes
But-
Apple Pay, which we've talked about. Listen, if you're,
you
if
think
you're
people are going to take your hand?
listen, if you're
I'm
a
sorry,
business,
I have no money, but I swear it's right here.
no, yeah. I mean, if there's a chip in there, it's like Apple Pay, right? So if a company comes up with it,
Absolutely not.
There's a whole
nother
other
thing, yeah.
agenda behind
Mark
it.
of the Beast.
okay, let me.
You can miss me with that.
So
it's not
So
happening.
back in the
Hell
day, in corporate gym, 24-hour fitness was the first one to come out with like a thumbprint, right? Like that's how you get access to the gym.
Yes.
Everyone said the same thing. Like, oh my
But
God,
that's different.
it's
That's
you
a
give a
thumbprint.
thumbprint.
You have to give your thumbprint when you go to the DMV. A
Right.
thumbprint is not the same as injecting yourself with something that has like it's completely and utterly different.
I don't see how you're injecting.
You're chipping
putting
yourself like a dog.
Yeah, See, this is the thing is everyone is.
It's
is,
completely different than a thumbprint.
I think everyone is so like looking for a conspiracy, but
This is not looking.
Until they become true.
no, not only that, but if you think about it, your phone already knows everything about you, tracks you. If
Listens to you.
listens to you, no, you're already being
But
tracked.
guess what? My phone is not injected inside of me. Okay.
But your phone is on you. How many percentage of the day? How often is your phone right next to you? 100% of the day.
It's still not. It's still not injected
It's the
inside.
sa-
of
it's
me.
But
the-
Am does have two phones.
It's the same thing. Yeah, that's another episode altogether.
My trap phone. Just kidding.
No, but
The burner.
I mean, trust me. I believe in conspiracy theories. I believe
It's not happening.
that there's a bunch of stuff out there that is preparing us for some madness that's going to happen in the future.
Dangerous future.
So we're desensitized to it. But I don't think putting a chip in my hand means that the devil is what is it? The rapture is going to come.
Mark of the beast.
The mark of the beast. I think that's called convenience, and I'm 100% for it.
Jason.
If someone wants to somehow put my debit card and everything in here,
I think it's called convenience.
it's called convenience. The same way that you pick your phone
Absolutely
up,
not.
you pick your phone up, you look at it, and
Not.
it opens up your app, right? It reads your face. I think I read something that they said.
I don't have my reading my face.
You wouldn't.
I do not have that.
That sounds like a typical non-meat eating person that would do that.
Damn, vegan.
I was like, you are not getting out. It's not happening.
No, but remember when there was like that Pokemon Go that was like super popular? Where did you know? So basically, it was like an app that you get
You're
the
like catching
Yeah,
Pokemon.
people
No,
are getting
well,
killed too on that app
No,
too.
well, the biggest thing is you get the landscape of wherever you're at. So like you're hunting them, and then a Pokemon will pop up. So I think it was Google or someone, whoever had that, they saved so much information of landscapes all over that they needed to like get more. Where do you store data at?
Memory?
Like that. Like let's just
Like
say
memory
servers?
towers?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
need more servers to upload it. So now what they do is they're able to really do deeper dives. You know, when your phone and you go on map, because of the Pokemon Go, everybody had the phone and they did all landscape, like shit that they didn't have. So like in ditches and stuff, because that's how
Instead of having them to like pay for the bots that would do them originally.
exactly, people were doing it already
You can't
for them.
trust anyone.
No.
You can't trust anyone.
Right, but what I'm saying is that's been going on for a long time. So do you think like a chip in your hands really going to change the fact that look, you're on your
Jason,
phone right now?
absolutely, because
You're on your phone right now.
Because I need to look. I'm gonna just read this to you.
No.
But
Oh,
I
because
think
I'm
it's
gonna look it
Switzerland or
up.
Sweden. I feel like I did see that yesterday.
And I trust both those places.
Yeah, I feel like
I
they.
don't trust.
You're out of your mind.
Switzerland.
So like if China,
too much
if like
sketchy
China
shit
was
that
doing it,
happens
I'd
in
be like,
No?
Like the
probably not. I'm
Kern
not going to
particle
do it.
Accelerator.
What? What is that?
The Kern particle accelerator. They're pretty much experimenting with opening black holes on Earth.
For what purpose?
I'm not even kidding.
For-
They're looking for the God particle or whatever it's called.
This
All this
is
sounds
just
fucking
so
insane,
crazy
but
to
I
me.
swear, given enough time and preparation, I could give a
But-
solid presentation. The same one that
I
might.
wasn't ready for my PowerPoint today.
The same
sorry,
one
guys.
that.
What's the point of opening up? Like, why would you open it? Like, what advantage does it give someone to open up a black hole?
I can't speak to the scientists
No?
that are behind this, but I'm pretty sure there's.
I
like
swear to God, if someone
But
comes in
it's a
this
thing.
room, if someone just breaks down this door and takes Ethan, I'm gonna be like, hey, you do what you got to do, government. You're doing this for our you
It's
have
so
our-
funny. I put in microchip, and all of a sudden it's like microchip, Illuminati, New World Order, chip in hand, Big Brother, no freedom, sign of the beast. Like all of these
so
things
like
are popping up.
so I know we kind of talked about, but Illuminati, like you really believe that there's like celebrities and politicians that go somewhere underground and they do these satanic rituals. Like you really believe
100%.
Drake is down there drinking a kid's blood for this. Like no, honestly,
I don't believe it in the sense like to where now it's become super popularized. I think like it's
Right.
now a joke. Like, oh, he's part of the Illuminati.
Yeah.
But I think there's like some seriously like disturbing shit that goes on once you're at a certain level that you kind of have to do if you want to get further.
Yeah.
So is that what you represent? Is that what you think? Illuminati is basically a big sorority frat
Why not?
where you have to be in it in order to get ahead. Because I mean, like some of the stuff that I read, I'm like, oh my god, I don't think Drake's out there like cutting his hand and meshing the blood
but,
with
like,
people.
You hear about like the whole adrenochrome situation, and I think when you look at certain incidents by themselves, like you have the 82,000 kids that went missing at the border. You have like the Queen of England. I know she died a little bit ago, but the school bus of indigenous kids that went missing. And she was one of the prime suspects in that investigation. But because you can't put the Queen of England on trial,
yeah.
like
So they killed
no
her?
one got tried for it. But there was a school bus full of indigenous kids that went missing. And it had to do with like the royal hunting parties that go on and shit that's tied to like the Bilderberg group, the Rothschilds, and all these like families that have been in charge since fucking forever.
That's true, yeah.
Like the 13 families, I think, like the 13 bloodlines that control like the banking systems, like that have been I'm a I just want to say I'm not suicidal. And
If anything happens,
if anything happens, I'm not suicidal.
Mom, I love you.
If I get found with 2 gunshots in my back,
Please,
PSA, none of us are suicidal. We all love our life, okay?
I'm definitely not airing this.
Want to be here.
Yeah.
whether or not this part's going to be aired is up to me. But
you're
there's just
speaking
like,
facts, yes.
I mean,
Well, okay, so there's cover up into when things happen, right? So recent events, submarine, right? We want to talk about that. So submarine happened. A whole week went by, but the submarine went down day 1, right?
Yep.
And then what happened? There was, I just keep seeing the memes, like 6 different things happened in that week that the submarine was down, right? Wasn't there a ship full of 100 refugees that they can't find? People were more concerned about 5 billionaires, refugees, 47 million emails between who?
there was proof that Biden took bribes.
Yeah.
From
Wait, what in the hell
So
are
all
you
this
guys
is going
talking?
on the
this
same
is-
week.
You see, but all of
Yeah.
this stuff was going on and things were going on while this whole submarine went
thing
down.
happened.
How did
The
Biden
same
get
week.
tied into the submarine? Explain that one to me.
No,
It's
this has
the
nothing
submarine
to
was
do with
used
the
as a-
submarine.
as a
Oh,
distraction
it was a
while
distraction.
All of
going
that.
on.
That was a big
It
distraction
dominated
to
the news
everything that was
cycle.
going on.
Okay, so do you think they staged a death, or do you think they're actually dead?
No, they're
Not-
100%
Oh,
dead.
they're dead.
They're
but,
dead.
but they knew they were dead day 1.
They knew they were dead Sunday when it
Sunday.
happened.
They just prolonged it because they needed time to
All the
cover
other stuff that was
other
going
shit
on.
up.
I don't think they're dead.
I think they're dead. Have you
I-
seen the wreckage
I think they're
footage?
dead.
Yeah,
No, they're
but
dead.
but I
The video
mean,
footage?
but this is the thing.
They're
They're
dead.
billionaires. I think they got down to a certain depth, and then they said, okay, they exited the
No.
submarine, and then the submarine
How-
crashed.
At that pressure.
No.
Like, they didn't have any suits. They were in a soda can.
Let me
of
tell
a
you something.
submarine.
If I would have told you 10 years ago that a car can drive itself, you would have been like, that's impossible. Now we have Teslas. There's so many things that I think are advanced that we don't even know.
But
'Cause
this
I
thing
think
was controlled by a video game
It-
controller.
I get that point, but
it's beyond our
if
comprehension
they
right now.
had if it was like a James Cameron type submarine where they had all the proper, equipment,
Right.
and they were the submarine looked like it'd be able to handle that kind of pressure,
looked
and they all
like-
had suits. There was a proper evacuation protocol
Yeah,
in place.
because you can't even come. You can't. They weren't able to unlock from the inside, right? It
Yeah.
had to be
Right.
unlocked from the outside.
Yes.
Yeah.
What?
Bolted.
Why would you even
Yeah.
sign up for that?
See, but this is the reason why. Like one of the billionaires, his son went to
The Blink 182 concert.
the Blink 182 concert. So I think they told him, "Look, at son, you're gonna see on the news that I'm dead. I'm not. I'm on this island.
No.
I'm a billionaire."
No.
So he was
Absolutely
like,
not.
"Hey, you don't think so?"
No.
And now he just changes his face.
No.
Like Total Recall. Like
No,
he
because
just-
this thing has went down
for that.
numerous times and has came back up. This submarine has actually went down numerous times and has came back up. But obviously, it was
you
bound.
think the
This
submarine
was
went
like
down
the
on its
10th
own?
trip,
Like
right?
it was a what?
I don't know the exact
10th
number of
trip,
how many,
I think,
but I know
yeah.
it's been down multiple times, and came back up fine. And I guess on that paper too, where they're signing their contract, when they signed their life away, it let them know that they had potential to die
Well, that's
numerous
everything.
times.
Yeah, that's true.
That's everything. Everything
Yeah.
you sign.
Yeah,
Everything
yeah.
you sign says, "Hey, you could die. Don't hold us liable." Yeah, that's not a
But
conspiracy.
even on this,
You
I
sign
just
up.
would never in my whole there's nothing that would even push. There's no money in the world that you can pay me to go down that deep in the
I just
ocean.
don't trust
Deep
the
or
ocean.
ocean? Nope.
Even snorkeling gives me anxiety.
Yeah,
Putting
no.
my head with the little even that
Yeah.
gives me anxiety. There's absolutely no way you couldn't pay me enough money to go down there and see.
You know what's
Take a
crazy?
photo and I'll see a picture of the
Exactly.
Yeah,
Titanic.
you know what's
I'm
crazy
good with the
is,
photo.
is I think I would be more afraid to go underwater than in space. Like I feel I would be more comfortable being in space than
Because
I
you
would.
think you can see everything.
I feel like because I don't know. I just feel like I feel like the ocean is something that
It's the
is
land
so
of the
it's so
unknown.
deep.
Yeah, I know.
That we don't know what's. I mean, for space, I get it. Space is infinite, right? Like
Yeah.
we don't know
Right.
what's out there. But at least I don't know. I would feel more comfortable if they're like, "Hey, we're going to Mars. Okay, sign me up for that." But hey, we're gonna see the Titanic. I'm
Yeah,
good.
either or.
Absolutely
I'm
not.
good on the Titanic, yeah.
Absolutely not.
Space or sea? No.
Absolutely
If I had
not.
all the money in the world, I would not sign up.
And
for
I don't
either
understand what the fascination still is with the Titanic. Like, why do you still want to go see that
there's a
wreckage?
whole
Exactly.
movie about
Are
it.
you kidding me?
Just
Bro,
watch the movie.
yeah.
Look at the photos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. But like you said, like to like Ethan's point, like I feel like, especially if we go back tied into like Illuminati type stuff, I feel like once you're so rich, it's like you get bored of things to do. Imagine you woke up in the morning and you're a billionaire, right? Like any want that you have, you could have anything that you
Again.
desired. It could be yours. So it's like I feel like when you're a billionaire status, you're thinking like, maybe I should try to go see the Titanic before I die because it's an experience. You know,
if I had that much money, you better believe like I'm gonna pay to get a real submarine, maybe like not a little tiny. No, absolutely not. There's absolutely no way. Not happening.
No, I mean, if they really did pass, that's just a sad situation. I'm just worried. I'm just more interested in where does the billions go? Do they all go to the sun? Because I'm telling you, the sun was at the Blink-182 concert chilling. like front row.
So who's the heir of everyone that was in that?
I don't know. That's what needs to be investigated.
Ooh.
Well, I know there were a father and son that was supposed to be on the submarine, but the son at the last minute.
I bet he
after,
did.
they did some investigation, and they actually met with the CEO in Vegas, and instead of flying like a regular commercial flight, the CEO flew in on a plane that he built. And that was when he was like, yeah, no, I don't have a good feeling about this guy.
The plane, I could feel the air on my face.
Yeah. Absolutely not.
Yeah, and they were like
not.
pressing him about all the safety concerns, and he was pretty much just like, "Oh, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Just trust me."
What are they? What are they rich for? Like, where do their money come from? The billionaires that are on there. Do you know?
Oh, I don't.
There's different things. Different things.
He's a businessman.
Yeah.
You know.
That's what everyone says whenever they have a lot of money and they do some illegal shit. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a business. Yeah. I'm a businessman. Import, export.
Export, yes, for sure.
Construction business.
No, yeah, I mean, I just feel like we're not meant to go that deep into the ocean. There's a reason why there's pressure.
Even like regular, just absolutely not.
And even that, like, I understand the fascination with the unknown, and like even like, let's just say Bigfoot, like the woods, we want to go in there, we want to see the space, we want to see aliens down.
I don't even trust the woods.
I know, I don't either. But like
the underground tunnel system.
Yeah, fine. Exactly.
Skinwalkers,
Nope, not happening.
Yeah, all the missing
absolutely
people
not.
in the
all the missing
national parks.
Not happening.
Missing
Nope.
411.
You know they just got eaten by bears?
No.
Absolutely not.
Find like torn clothes, like
eaten
at least
by bears.
body parts of people that have been missing.
So where are all these people going? What, like, who's taking them and why?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the question.
There's no answer.
Exactly.
So you just think people like are randomly disappearing and they're like used for experiment? You think they're like? Do you think there's like slaves out there? They're like building some things and they're using them.
Not slaves.
No.
But
No.
There's,
No, I don't know.
That's how every conspiracy. That's how you end it.
I don't know.
It's like,
what's your source? Just trust me, bro.
What I said. No.
It's like when I asked them, who told you? People? What people? The people. I don't know. That's why I'm asking you, what people are you talking about?
Okay, so Ethan, tell us all the stuff that went down the same week that the submarine went down that we haven't talked about, because that's what they're also saying. It's like they're using this as a cover up for all the other bad stuff.
I do believe they do that, but there's so much stuff that's constantly happening in the world. It's like you could do that about any day. I feel like you could do that about any day, that there's a lot of stuff cover up going on.
Oh, Jason.
No, you don't think so?
You're just like.
Am I drinking the Kool-Aid?
Yeah.
Well, you're like sipping
you
the
kind of
Kool-Aid,
seem,
not
you're
drinking
kind
it.
of sipping it. We seem like we might be losing you a little bit, but I don't know. Just don't like.
Government is good.
You might be getting. I don't know. Oops, did I just say that?
Oh well, great. Now we can't
now
hear that.
be censored.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think I'm in a place now where I do believe some stuff, and I understand. Like, I do believe like the whole whatever it was. I do believe there was it was like a get quick rich, because the Pfizer was the only one that could sell it, or whatever. Even with war, right? I really feel war.
You have to listen to the Joe Rogan podcast.
I listen to all of them, but the
one with Kennedy.
Okay, I haven't listened to that.
You have to listen to that one.
Hey,
You're gonna be like,
why are we promoting other people's podcasts? No, I'm just kidding.
We can promote Rogan. I love him.
Yeah. No, but I mean, like, there's so many things that I have to worry about in my life, like where other stuff like that. It's like, how can I as an individual even impact? I can't change it.
That's so
right.
true.
And I think that's how most people. I mean, that's how most people think. Like, I'm just trying to pay bills. I'm trying to get my own business going. I'm trying to just establish myself that I'm not worried about. I'm not worried about the submarine thing. Now, with that being said, it did bite me in the butt, because I don't really vote, to be honest with you, because I always feel like California, no matter what, Democrats are going to win.
No matter
so
what.
it's like, not to say that I do vote Democrat or I don't, because I don't want my DMs to be.
Right.
But
there's a lot of allegedly going on in the podcast.
I can tell you how much I was infected by having a business in LA County with Newsom and stuff like that, where I can see how it does affect. Something like that I can see does affect. But
From our kitchen to yours, this episode is brought to you by Meals by Mill. Enjoy healthy, delicious meals right to your door every day. Use promo code MIX15 at checkout for 15% off your first order. Serving LA, Inland Empire, and Orange County areas. Order today.
Once you get to the presidency, no one, I don't think even the president runs the country. It's a bunch of other people that run the country.
Bohemian.
So
Yeah,
like,
it's not the president
I feel
runs
like
the
it doesn't
country.
matter who runs. It doesn't matter who runs for office
There's
because
an agenda.
Yeah, but they're
A
gonna,
hidden
they're-
agenda.
They're going to get that
Yeah.
agenda across no matter what. There has to be, if there was ever a change, it would have to be someone that's like literally
The Antichrist.
in it that exposes all of them.
Yeah.
But even then, if they exposed all of them, they would be a cover up. Like I feel like it's so big. If there is this thing, it's so big and it's so beyond us that it's like there's no point to even care, if that's the right word.
Well,
I know
see,
people are.
I don't think that's right either.
No, you don't think so?
but
You think you should care?
I don't think that you should just be like, because of that, and have that mindset of just like, okay, let me just be blind to everything.
Well, I mean, I think it's not blind, but it's like these are the cards that I'm dealt. How could I still win this game with these cards? Is the way I kind of feel like. Like, okay, so Gavin Newsom, they were going to recall him, right? How many signatures did they get? How many things did they get? And you're like,
Yeah.
oh, he's going to get recalled. Then all of a sudden, oh no, he won in a landslide. Like,
Yeah.
how did that
We're
happen?
like, how did
But
a
I knew he
landslide
wasn't going to
happen?
get. I knew that it wasn't.
But,
Yeah.
but if you look at like supposedly the signatures, but it's like there's nothing you could almost do at this point. If they're saying the elections are rigged, that they're saying now it's like, I think they want like illegal immigrants to be able to vote because obviously they're going to vote Democrat. You know, there's those things that don't make sense that it's like, there's nothing I can do no matter what I do. So I might as well just say, okay, what cards do I have in my deck that they're giving me? And then how could I try to win the game with what I'm dealt?
With what you're dealt with.
That's the way I kind of go through
So
life.
would you maybe care more on like, let's just say like family level, right? With the school district that maybe your daughter's in, right? Like,
Yeah, but I have a choice with
that's what
that.
I'm
Like,
saying.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
to
I have
you,
a
like
choice.
that's in your control. Like, I'm gonna go
100%.
my city, what I can
Yeah,
touch.
so, like,
but
if-
I don't need to save California.
Yes. So like if I go and there's some funny stuff going on in a school district that, you know, I'm potentially sending my daughter to, I have to make more money to be able to send her to a school that I feel is in the same moral compass that I am.
Yeah.
Right. So I could change that.
Yeah.
Now, could I change the school district? No. Could I change teachers? No. But I can put her in a place by focusing on myself and focusing on building my
so
business.
putting
to-
yourself in the situation,
in a
or the
situation,
place
yeah.
that you want to be.
Yes, so those are my cards, right?
Yeah.
I'm dealt my cards, and now I'm just going to play the game because you have no control. It's like when you go to Vegas, right? The dealer's going to deal you those cards. You either learn how to win with those or you lose with them, right? Because
well, I think that's life in general. Obviously, yeah, that's how we live our life, right?
Right.
You gotta go with the cards you're dealt with. But I still
but I think that's
think
why
that
I
it's
don't.
that you don't pay attention to everything else that's
No,
going on.
I mean I definitely pay attention, and some of the stuff I think it gets so blown out of proportion. I feel like for me,
Yeah.
like the chip thing, like
you just don't get lost in it.
no, like for me the chip thing just sounds like convenience. It sounds like, oh, that's
You look
awesome.
at it very black and white. Like
Well, that's
it's
how
black
it's
and white.
disguised.
Yeah, that's what they want
That's
you
where
to
they get
think,
you.
Jason.
See, and then I thought, where's your source, bro? Trust me, I
Just
was on
trust me,
shrooms one day and it came to me.
I was on shrooms one day, and this entity came through and started talking to me
Yeah.
and passed all this information.
I
over
mean,
me,
I
and-
He
definitely,
saw a shaman.
Yeah.
I definitely think people are at, because I've seen it even like at a lower level. Some people have so much money that they just nothing phases them, so they need something new to excite them, right? You need something new and exciting to get yourself going. So you'll start to like build a submarine because you're like, I'm a billionaire, I've flown this, why not have my own? You get your own jet. Like, why do you really need your own jet unless you're using it for like a if you're a singer or an actor, or you need to get somewhere. But
Yeah.
really, you push the threshold every single time you make a certain amount of money. And when we're talking billions, right? We can't even comprehend. You can't even comprehend what it's like to have a billion, or
Yeah.
even to me, even like 500 million. Like, what is that even like to wake up in the morning
It
and look
still
at my,
wouldn't be enough money to get me down beneath the water. So
I guarantee you,
no,
if a billionaire came to
absolutely
you,
not. I promise you.
if a billionaire came and said, I'm going to give you $100 million tax, like he'll pay the taxes on it, $100 million in your
I
pocket.
will not go.
Go to space or the ocean.
So look at it doesn't matter. You get the money whether we die or not, and you could give it to whoever you want. So you're telling me if someone said
No.
so
absolutely,
your
I
family,
promise
your
No, I
family,
wouldn't.
your
I'm not
nephews,
going
your
down,
nieces
I'm
are
not-
set for
nope,
life.
I am not going down beneath that water so that y'all could be set for life.
Really?
There
I
is no
respect
way.
that.
Yeah.
I'm
I
not
respect
doing
that.
it. It's not happening. I don't
It's a
care.
50-50
Have someone else
sacrifice
do
of
it.
your life.
Have
because
someone else do it then in my family.
Really?
Let them do it. Yeah, but I'm not doing it.
I would
promise you.
100% do that.
No, I wouldn't.
Really?
100%. If a billionaire came to me and
Sacrifice
said,
your life?
If a billionaire came to me and said, "I'm going to give you
Over
100,
money? Absolutely not.
I'm going to give you $100 million."
No.
Not taxed. Like
I wouldn't.
untaxed.
I promise you, I
All
wouldn't.
the alarms would start going
And
off.
so
Like, what's the
I
catch?
go down there, right?
there's a catch.
And it's going to be generational wealth, right? My daughter,
And then
my
you're-
wife,
and then
she's
the
going to
submarine
remarry some dude,
explodes
and he's going to get the money.
And then
I
your,
would
and then your daughter
100%
has
do
to
it.
live the rest of her life with no
Without a
dad.
Right, but she'll know later that she's
No,
set for her
absolutely
life.
not.
Sacrificed himself.
Yeah.
My dad went down there just because so we can have money. So
No,
he
no.
killed himself so we can have
I'm
money.
not saying-
money
it's a
was more
suicide
important than
mission.
family.
I'm not saying it's a
no,
suicide.
absolutely not.
But if it's like, if like he's like, yeah, I need someone to go with, no one wants to go, I'll give you,
No.
I'll give you 100
I would
million.
walk
We'll
into
make
that.
it.
Well,
If I
why
did do
doesn't
it.
anybody else want to
Exactly.
go? That's the big question.
Because of people like
No.
Ethan Amherst spewing.
No, I
no,
think-
absolutely not. I promise you couldn't pay me enough to go down there.
Wow, I would take
There's-
$100 million to go down there.
I don't even like. You couldn't even pay me like $1,000 to go on a roller coaster. Like that's how
Okay.
strong I am. Like it's not happening.
don't like
Absolutely
roller
not.
coasters?
Absolutely
I
not.
don't
The Disneyland one, I'm like scared. Like it's fine, it's cool, but you will not catch me. I wouldn't even step foot into Six Flags. That's cute. I'm not going.
Hey, I'm gonna put this to the test.
It's not happening.
I'm
I
gonna take
promise
you-
you.
I'm gonna take you- I'm
My
gonna take-
friends, like I think it was Angie for her birthday. She went to Six Flags. I was like, cute. I'm not going. It
Yeah,
could be
I-
my best friend, my grandma. Like the last day, I'm not going to Six Flags with you. I'm not getting on a roller coaster. It's not happening.
Wow.
Dang,
You
I
won't
was
even
just
walk
there.
into the
I had
park?
so much
Like-
fun.
You wouldn't go for like a
but what's
churro?
the point? I'm gonna watch you
No,
guys
that's
all
true.
sit
No,
on.
that's
I
the
will
worst
not.
place to just. If you don't like roller coasters, that's the worst place.
I won't, and I'm very like not happening. No.
Wow. Yeah, no, sign me up, $100 million. Submarine
go
ride
in the
or
submarine, yep,
space,
nope, not
wherever.
happening.
I'm good for that.
Absolutely.
Space
not.
or sea, either
Well,
one.
Yeah, no,
That's
either one,
cute.
yeah.
I'll see you when you get up.
Hopefully,
Well,
hopefully.
pros, you come up and you have $100 million.
100%.
Right.
Cons,
I'm not
you
willing
suffer
to
a
take that
horrible
chance.
death at the bottom of the ocean.
No, but it's not a horrible death. It's a quick death.
yeah, but
You
it's-
explode.
you're-
You literally just explode. Like
Yeah,
that's what
that's-
happened. You,
Yeah.
So I'm not going to feel
I'm not
anything.
willing
I'm not
to
going to
take
do
that
anything.
chance.
I'm not
but,
ready.
But
I'm not ready
you
to
will
die.
combust.
But I'm going to combust. But I know everyone else is going to be living good.
Nope.
Because you're gonna die eventually. Why not go out with a
Jason,
bang?
at this age,
I
No
would listen
pun
to that
intended.
little voice saying like, Amorous, if you go down there, you could potentially die. And to me, I'm like, oh, that's God telling me not to do it. I'm not going down there. He just told me not to. I'm not doing it.
You
There's
could
a lot
die.
of things
You
I
could.
would do
Nope.
for
You could
that.
die.
Yeah,
in
I
$100.
mean, I've gone skydiving twice, right? And so I think
You could die
You could die skydiving
Yeah,
too,
yeah,
yeah.
you
But
could.
I'm
That's a
still
safer
not going,
bet than going to the
I'm
bottom
still
of the
not going
ocean.
beneath the water. Like it's not happening.
Is it though? I wonder
Deep
what.
down
I
in the
wonder.
ocean,
I wonder
I'm
if
not
you
doing
look
that.
how many people die from car accidents and how many people die from summer like
Well, there's
underwater.
nobody's going to in submarines all the
Right.
time. That's
Yeah.
that's a thing. It's not. Of course, it's going to be car accidents.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
No, there was a
skydiving too.
of course.
right. There's one time I was driving. I'm like going like the speed limit. I'm driving on the freeway and I'm just like looking around. I'm like, people are on their phone. You know how you're just driving and
Yeah.
you kind of zone out. I'm like, man, we're in a metal box going 80 plus miles per hour, hoping that the person next to us, like when you
Is
put it into
paying
context like
attention.
that,
Paying
is paying
attention.
attention, is not going to just veer
Yeah.
off or maybe have like a psychiatric mental breakdown where they're like, I'm just going to turn into these
Absolutely.
people. Like every single day we wake up, we go through something like that.
Of course, and there's like, yeah. It's
And
just,
if I was to get in a car accident and die, I'm not going to get $100 million.
although,
But then you're purposely.
ironically, I would go skydiving.
You would? Let's
I
do
would.
it.
I would. I know it's weird. It's like the weirdest thing
Really?
I'd rather
because I
go-
just feel like it's just liberating in a
It's
weird
a-
way.
it's an
It'll help me
amazing-
fight my fears of heights. I think.
Yeah.
So you won't go on a roller coaster,
No, I won't.
but you'll go skydiving.
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing.
Make it make sense.
I know. Just like I'm scared of spiders, but I'm not scared of snakes. It's weird. I know.
What else, Ethan? What else is happening in the world today?
All right. Well, speaking of putting rich people in metal tubes, the Virgin Galactic spaceflight.
Oh, yeah.
They are like
Speaking of
literally,
going to space.
literally a day after the sub implodes underwater, they announced
you
that
can
they're
go to
going to do the
space.
official first flight.
I trust him though.
You know, I trust that.
I trust Richard
that.
Branson, right?
Yeah, Richard Branson.
I trust him. I trust him.
I trust that. They're going to be sending 6 people.
So why do you trust him?
Because they're a publicly traded company.
Not only that, but I've seen a lot of videos of him, like either like with his island that he builds, and a lot of the stuff that he does, like charity work and stuff like that. I don't know. I just feel like
He's a good person.
No, I feel like he has something to like. He puts. How long has he been trying? Like how long has he been building this thing? It's been like for a while. I feel like he's been trying to get this thing going. So I don't think he's like cutting corners. Like if it was him.
But like, do they work with NASA? Like, how do they not cut corners? With
I mean,
something like that?
does Elon Musk work with NASA? I
don't know.
No, he
Yeah,
doesn't.
SpaceX.
SpaceX doesn't work with NASA. Well, I'm gonna look like an idiot if they do. But from what
the first flight was in July 2021.
It's just separate. Like it's
like a broker.
It's separate.
And that's the thing. I think we're so used to like NASA encompasses like all the space the same way we thought like, oh, Honda, Toyota, and then someone comes out with a new car and you're like, oh,
NASA though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I mean,
founded by
I would trust if I had like a billionaires list that I would trust, it'd probably be Richard Branson, probably one. Kanye West would probably be two. And then Mark Cuban would probably be three. Is Mark Cuban considered a billionaire?
I think he is.
Yeah, and Mark Cuban would be three. Those are my three trusted billionaires that if they're like, hey, come with me if you want to live, I'm going with them.
I would say Mark Cuban.
Okay, well, you didn't say it was Mark Cuban coming up to you and saying that. You just said it was a random billionaire. If it was Mark Cuban coming up to you for the submarine.
I'm talking about ones that I trust because we're on the Richard Branson thing. And I think that'd be a safe trip to Mars. Where are they going?
No, they're just going.
They're just going to space.
Oh yeah, that's what saying, bro.
We've been It's a 90-minute
it's
ride up.
Yeah.
Right. So it's about, I think, what is it, like 5K an hour?
No.
I mean a minute.
5K
a minute. Sorry, not an hour. A minute. 5K a minute.
$50,000.
I would 100% do that.
It's $5,000 a minute, and it's a 90-minute
and they've
ride.
already sold 100 tickets.
They've already sold 100 tickets.
Because that's an affordable price point.
So hopefully.
For billionaires, that's what I'm saying. We're thinking us. We're thinking us normal people. These people here.
GoFundMe account for Jason to go up in space.
Bro, if you guys could give me $450,000,
it's not going to space.
No, I'm gonna do like a fake me in space. Shh, Ethan,
we'll put a green screen in the back.
Yeah.
And then you can call in.
That's actually pretty affordable. I thought it'd be like more.
So how many people go on each flight?
6. I think it's 6 total each flight. Yeah. So.
And it's 90 minutes. So how many are they gonna do a day? Like, is it once a month, once a year,
I think it's.
Because if that's 100 tickets, 6 people, right? That you can't do that once a year, right?
I think that's it. Like you're buying to pretty much be put on a waiting list.
Wow.
Yeah.
So hopefully
you would even do space, Emers? You wouldn't do like space?
See,
90 minutes?
I love space. I'm so infatuated. I love space, but I think.
Do you believe in the moon landing?
Here's the thing. Oh. Well, that's a different conspiracy, okay? But here's the thing. I just feel like I don't know if I would. I still don't think I would go. No.
Really?
Because a lot can happen. And in my head, I still think like, what experiment are they doing while we're coming up here? Like, why would they want us to come up here? Like, yes, granted, you trust the guy, but they're obviously, I'm just a normal person. I'm not an astronaut. They don't need me. They could be just using me as an experiment to go up there and see what can happen. Like, there's so many things. And I'm just like, you're not using me as an experiment. I'm sorry. Like, I'll watch and I'll be infatuated and I want to know. I'll be invested in these people going up there. But at the same time, what is the objective here? Like, what are we really doing?
Look, I feel like there's enough information on how on sending humans to space that they don't need to test it on you.
I think that's not true.
How many times have we been to space?
See,
but
enough times where
none of that matters because I feel like I've been so traumatized from being exposed to conspiracy theories so early on in my life that no matter how much proof that this is going to be a 100% safe trip, in my head it's like it might be 100% safe, but my trip is going to be the one that the government decides to blow
to use up. Me as an experiment.
Yeah, that's how my brain works.
Yeah, same.
And so you'd be the one of 100 trips,
or who knows?
Yeah,
but because these are just normal people they're sending up here. They're people with money, right? Like they could be just doing this trip as an experiment for something else. Let's just see.
I can see Richard Branson being, yes, we got Amherst from Pomona.
Yeah, you just never know.
Finally.
No, they don't even know who I am. That's
finally,
the point.
we have her.
The point is I'm just a nobody, right? So like I'm just a nobody going up there. So if something happens to me, let's say at launch the spaceship just explodes. Like, well, there was an experiment there. They died. Like, sorry, that's tragic.
That's interesting because one thing I was reading also, and not on a conspiracy related note, about the submarine is the amount of people that were cheering for a billionaire that died.
That was sad.
Wait, what? I didn't see
the
that.
amount of like eat the rich comments
Mm-hmm.
that people were saying. Because he was a billionaire, like who fucking cares?
Yeah, who cared? Yeah, I saw a lot of that too. I saw a lot of like, oh, who cares? He's a billionaire.
Mm-hmm. There was a lot of memes.
Like, oh no, we lost.
If we have, I heard someone that said like, there's no, and I kind of understand it. There's like a group of people that are like, there's no need to be a billionaire, right? Like, there's no like one. It shouldn't be that many percentage of people that have $1 billion when there's so much people that are in need. Mm-hmm. But they earn that $1 billion.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm always kind of like, I get it, like, right? Like if I had $1 billion, it's easy for me to be like, yeah, I would donate a lot of it, but would I get so stuck? Would I get so stuck hanging out with other billionaires that I'm like, well, I want to do this. But I do agree at some point, it's like, when is enough money enough money?
Yeah, that's
right.
true.
When can you take that? Let's just say someone's worth 2.3 billion. When can you take 1 billion of that? Like, how much does your life change having $1 billion less that you can't do now? Right? Because it's just sitting there, probably just in an account. I don't know. I don't even know what $1 billion does. As far as like, do they have it in an account? Do they have it offshore? I don't know what it
Chase
is.
bank account.
Yeah, like Chase. Do they go to the Chase and like run their debit card with their palm print?
I guess to me, like, to take the billionaire away, I don't care. Like, either billionaire, like, it's a life's a life to me, right? And they were obviously doing something that they wanted to, like, that's what they wanted to do because it like fed them in some way. It's still sad to me because it's still life. Like they still went there thinking they're coming up. So like I look at it as that. Like I don't care that it's a billionaire. It's still a human being, right?
100%.
Like
That's the way you should look at. That's what you should look at anybody.
Yeah. And so like it's still tragic. It's still sad. Like granted, there was a lot. Like I said, there's so many memes going on about this thing. But I just think that it's just so like I can't comprehend what would. I get it. It's the money that obviously they're just like, I have all this money, throw it away. Let me go down there. But to me, I'm just like, what would possess them? Like, were you really thinking about this? Like, it's controlled by a video. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, just there's so many reasons why I would not do it. That like you have so much money. Like, where were your brain in this thing? Like,
but it's
just
exactly
crazy
that.
to
I
me.
just think I just think they get so bored.
It's
Like
just
you
sad.
get so
I can
you
see
get
the
so
boredom
bored because you have $1 billion and you've done everything.
What
like,
else are we gonna do?
Yeah, I heard the podcast with Dan Balzerian, and again I don't know how rich he is, but he's like, I used to fly to countries to eat at a restaurant and then fly back just because I could afford it. I'd be like, hey, do you guys want to go eat in Italy? I would have a private jet, take me there. Literally, I'd be there. They'd have the food ready, and then I would just fly back, and I would sleep on the jet. It's
like you would too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So like the opportunity to see the Titanic, the opportunity to go to space. Like how many people can actually say like that's like a very small percentage of people that can do it.
I guess for me, it's just the way that it happened. Like there couldn't have been a better. You know what I mean? Like more. It's just. Yeah,
but if it would have been successful, we would have been like, that's amazing. You controlled it with the controller. It's always easy to say. It's always
successful. They have went down there and did it. So
but
like
see,
that's
like I was saying, the one trip.
The one trip. That's the thing is it has been successful. They've been down there and back up. Like it's not that this was the very first time it happened. It's just like this was that one. Eventually, I feel like it was just bound to happen. I don't know. It's sad. It's tragic.
Like, if you look at the way it was built.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Eventually, it was bound to happen.
So did he build it was just one submarine that he built. It wasn't like a bunch of them.
It was just the one, I believe.
So it's been the same submarine has gone down each time, but maintenance, something happened, or
I don't even think they had like regular maintenance for it. If you saw like the videos, like on like the levers were labeled by duct tape and Sharpie.
No, okay, I didn't know that.
Stop
Really?
it.
I'm telling you, like this, like that's what I'm saying. Like you couldn't have been smarter to actually look at this thing and realize what you're getting into.
Okay.
Like you have all that money, you're not going to make sure that it's like a.
Okay,
build your own submarine by
the only way to get out was to have that like front.
It had to be from the outside.
It had to be drilled.
Yeah, okay, that's what I saw.
Okay, I retract my statement.
Like,
I don't think I would go on a submarine.
Dude, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
Well, I didn't know it had like duct tape on. Like,
there's no, and it was literally controlled. Like, think of your PS4 controller. Like,
that's
come on.
That's insane.
It's just not. That's why I said there's no amount of money you could have paid me to go down there in that thing.
Yeah, see, I think Richard Branson's space thing is done a little bit more tastefully. Pretty sure there's like nice marble flooring, probably cushions on the seats, you know.
So if you're dying,
Huh?
It's like it plays the Titanic music if it's going down. So you're just chill, like, hey, I'm gonna die in space. But then again, how many people can say they died in space?
I heard.
You wouldn't be able to talk about it though.
Yeah, people would talk about it.
No one can say they could die in space because they wouldn't be here to talk about it. Like
But people would be like, damn, you remember that guy Jason? He died in space. That's crazy.
He's just floating up there somewhere.
Yeah. Did you see his wife remarry and now she's like flying all over the country in a private jet because she has $100 million?
I can't.
Her she's dating Messi. What the?
It's not happening.
Oh no.
That'd be crazy.
Okay, no. So consensus, Jason's the only one going to space.
Yeah, I mean,
Jason's going in a submarine and he's going to space. All right, he's that guy.
What an eventful life I would have had. Submarine and space. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, and you conspiracy theorists are down here
trying to save
driving
the world.
in a car. Ugh.
Yeah. Driving in a car that's safe with airbags, with
Those aren't even safe.
that we
They could kill you too.
They can kill you
I tell you what,
Listen,
at least
we're
I
just
won't.
not
At
safe
least I
down
won't
here.
implode.
I'd rather implode though. Isn't that like just quicker to die?
It's quicker, but like, who wants to go out like that?
That's true.
You
So
know, like,
just tragic.
really
It's so
being crushed
sad.
by
My
pressure.
heart hurt today.
This was a sad podcast today.
Yeah.
I don't think it's kind of funny. Not the topics, but
Yeah, I mean, and again, I just keep going back to that. I think we're not even built to think like a billionaire. So like, we don't even know, like you say, like, why would you do that? Yeah, you have like I don't know. Your way of thinking is not like a billionaire's way of thinking. So I just think when
The conversation.
Well,
Yeah,
to
like-
me,
like-
then I would just think as a billionaire, you should just be more strategic with your thoughts and look at what you're getting into.
yeah.
The duct
Or they've
tape,
just gotten to a
like,
point
are you
where it's
kidding
so
me?
careless.
No,
That's what I
Yeah.
mean. I feel like once you're a billionaire, you're like in God mode. Like meaning like, ain't nothing's gonna happen to me. Like there's nothing you can't get yourself out of. So like when you
You're
when you
not
live your life,
invincible. You're still
just
a
doing
human
side
being.
quests.
yeah, but you're
It's
not. But you've
money.
never had $1 billion in your
It doesn't matter at the same time. It's just
you're a
logic.
billionaire and
it's
wanna
just
give us
simple
some
logic
input,
to me.
let us
Just
know.
because you have so much
Yeah.
money does not mean you're invincible.
I think it's a different way of like thrill seeking, right? Because you have people who like ride motorcycles and they're like, oh, I'm going to go 180 straight on
Right.
a freeway, but they're in control of their own.
So they were. I know
right?
that a family member of the kid that was on there with his dad. She was saying that
Don't tap that.
the kid didn't want to go on, and he really didn't want to go on.
Was
But
that the
he
Rubik's Cube one?
only did it because it was Father's Day weekend, so he went with his dad. But he really didn't want to go on. Like he didn't want to go on there, but his dad did, so he did it because it was Father's Day weekend. I know.
It's a good son.
It's sad.
No.
I know.
I mean, people die every day, dude.
No, I know.
People die every day in worse ways, and so it's like
No, and that's what I'm saying. Like,
That's true. Like the ship that tipped over
what?
in the ocean, the migrant
With
ship.
all those, with all the,
well,
yep,
yeah.
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
yeah.
You're talking about the one that disappeared?
No, the one that actually capsized.
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah.
See,
Yes.
See, it was being covered up by
You
the
see,
submarine.
you were too busy just
I was too busy watching Black Mirror to watch the news.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I kind of. You still watch the news? Like, where's your news source?
I honestly, I don't watch
Yeah,
the news.
I don't really
I don't
watch
watch
the news
TV.
anymore.
I don't. Yeah,
It always-
I just listen to like a lot of podcasts.
podcasts,
or if I
right.
want to do something, then I'll start. If I hear about something, then I'll do my
Yeah.
own research. Like, granted, I can't believe everything that I'm reading either. But I
Right.
do like my own research on things. And again, like I listen to podcasts. That's how I find out about so many things too.
Yeah.
Because I don't watch the news and I don't watch TV anymore. I used to be consumed by like the news, like.
Well, it's
But
just
not
crazy
anymore.
to me how like the news, and that's why I mean all this happened in 2020, where like one news station goes so hard in the paint one
Yep.
way, but I'm like, it's the same
It was
event
like
that's
the
happened.
battle
Like
of
how
CNN and
like,
Fox.
Like how can you
Yes.
have two different?
Yeah.
How can you have two different stories on one thing that happened?
Yeah.
You know what I
But
mean?
they're
So
owned
like,
by the same
Media. Or
company.
Are they
company,
really?
yeah.
Owned by the same people. Yeah.
yeah.
That's what everything's a lie.
All right. So have you guys ever seen Walking Dead?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
So I always it's funny too because my wife, I'm so late to the party, but I've been watching it, and it's almost like I feel like we're in The Walking Dead in the sense where there's people trying to kill us, right? Like The Walking Dead, they're trying to kill us, and we're fighting each other, right? So that when people are like, "Oh, I'm Republican, I'm Democrat, oh, I hate this person for this," it's like really, if you break it down, we're all against the same person, which is the government agenda,
Right.
whatever that may be.
Right.
But it's just we're so trained to like fight with each other that we can't even see it. So like even like The Walking Dead, for anyone that's seen it, or if you haven't seen it, obviously there's Walking Dead and you don't want to get eaten alive, but the people that are actually alive, they're fighting each other like internally. And I'm like,
Survival mode.
for survival,
Yeah.
they're stealing each other's food, they're stealing each other's, houses, whatever, where it's like if they all came together, it would be so much of
one
a strong,
big
right?
community.
Yeah.
And to your point earlier when you were saying like it doesn't really matter who's like president,
Right.
Like there's nothing we can do.
Mm-hmm.
I think like the one thing we can do is
Come together and join forces.
That's how
Yeah.
a change would
It's
be
true.
made.
It was sad that would
You
never
know?
happen though.
It'll never
It
happen.
never,
would never happen.
Never.
It will- it will-
It's never happened. It'll never happen.
Yeah, it would never happen where there'd be like, and again, I think there should be more parties than just like a Democrat and Republican that are so strong. But it's if they really want to be in power, and I think they're the same. It's almost like if like two casinos, you go to Vegas, you stay at one, they're owned by the same company, right?
Yeah.
So it's like. They could always instill people to be like on social media talking crap about the Democrats or Republicans. So it's like a never ending cycle, and it's no one ever takes everything. Everyone takes everything for what they read for like face value. They don't really do the research.
Yeah.
So with that mindset, and they kind of want us to have that mindset. So the more you kind of just feed into whatever it is on social media, you don't really research it yourself.
Well, most people just pick a side.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
It's
I
easier.
feel that,
And
and
it's
that's
two
it.
sides of the same coin.
Yep.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
And the whole reason they're pushing that like such strong like division between the two is because they know if people
Came together, it'd be
united,
scary.
started seeing eye to eye,
Then we would be so much stronger.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that. So many bigger things that are going on in the world that we don't know about, that maybe the government isn't out to get us, but they're out in some way to help us.
No, Jason, they're
By not telling us what's
see,
going
this is
on,
where-
and they're
no,
just, you know, you don't
absolutely
think,
not.
no.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So you don't think at any level the government is doing things to help the people? You think at every single level the government is trying to just F everybody?
I don't think at every single level, but I think
Yeah.
at the levels that matter.
Yeah.
Like what, presidency, Congress, like that, like
Yeah, like the actual rule makers, the lawmakers, like the people that actually implement all the shit that they're passing. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of stuff that's promoted as good for you, but there's a ton of shit that gets slipped in there.
Yep.
That's
yeah, for their own. I mean,
Like, there's so many things right now that are just so wrong that I'm just like looking at what they're trying to like. They're trying to normalize so many things right now just in this
That's very
world.
true.
Like, do you know what I mean? For this, that, like, no, I don't. And if you really pay attention to a lot of the things that are going on, yeah, I don't think that they're out for the best of our interests.
and it's not
Jason,
just
at all.
like Republican politicians,
Yeah, and it's
Democrat
nothing-
politicians.
yep,
It's
exactly.
across the board.
Across the board.
Right.
It like, who was it? Nancy Pelosi and all the insider trading.
Yeah.
That's going on. Like, how is that fucking okay?
I mean, it's
Like,
not, but
It's not okay, but they can get away with it.
yeah, I
you know?
mean,
Yeah.
like even, I don't think it's okay, but
But if you can play the game,
it's a game. It's a game that we're not even, and we're just mad because we're not even in the game.
that's true.
That's what I really
That's
feel.
true.
I feel,
Because
I feel like
I'll be real. If we
If you
were,
had an
if I was-
opportunity-
if I had that opportunity, hate me, you hate me for saying so, but I'd probably take it.
I'm telling
and
you.
that's
Yeah.
maybe my moral.
we're
gray
mad
area,
because we're
but
not in the game.
Yeah.
But I think when you realize, like, hey, you're not in that game, but you can play your own game with the cards you're dealt, then your view of the world is different, right? There's a lot of like, do I think Gavin Newsom was acting alone in everything he did? No, I think there was an agenda and he was doing it for the good of everyone's looking. Everyone's going to eventually do what's best for them and whatever the
Their own
situation is.
self-interest, yeah.
And that's government. I think if you really want to put someone in government or put someone as a governor, it should be someone that grew up in LA, that knows about LA, that's been living in LA, and then promote them to governor because then they really know what the hell's going on. You know, instead of having
But
someone
then they
go.
would never have the money to put themselves
Exactly.
in that situation.
Exactly. That's what I mean. But I mean, if that was going to be fair, I think that would probably be the best situation. But yeah, I mean, I just think that this game we complain about is we complain about it because we're not in it. But if we were in it and we had some insight, if someone told you, hey, Marissa, if you put $100,000 into this stock, it's going to go up. You're not going to be like, no, I'm not going to do that because it's morally wrong. You're going to be like, well, this is the perks, right?
So I might go to jail for
Right. It's
for
the
a little
perks.
bit, yeah.
Like we've been to places where people give us stuff for free, right? Or hey, here's a case of this. Here's this. Can you just put it on social media? Like, and people go, why do people always give you? I always get that. Why do people always give you free stuff? Because I play the game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to put it on social media. I'm going to do it. If you had the opportunity
Yeah,
to
100%.
get the same thing, you would do it too. Because I'm in the game. I'm just not in the billionaire game. I don't think I'll ever be in the billionaire game. We had Mike on here, and he owns Fitness Mania, and he kind of talked about like how his rise to the top and his obsession with being like opening a gym and having it be successful. He lost a marriage.
Yeah.
Right. So there's always like, I think people don't really see that side, and that's why I would say I don't think I'll be a billionaire, not because I don't think I have the potential, but because I value certain things that other billionaires probably don't value. Like I do value time with my family. I do value people.
Yeah.
So I think like even like at a
And
market,
just integrity as a person.
integrity as a person, and I think once you get to a billionaire, even a multi-millionaire status, most of the
Do you
people,
think that's when the narcissistic tendencies
100%.
pop up and they just
100%.
don't? Yeah.
I think you think, how could I maximize my income? Because that's what gets you to being a
Yeah.
multimillionaire or a billionaire, right?
And,
So
and also it's like once you're a millionaire, it just compounds faster, right?
compounds
Everything's
faster.
like, all right,
Yeah.
how fast
and
can I
then
get to
and
that
then what
next
happens is you
level?
become a millionaire, and then you start hanging around probably with other
More,
millionaires, and
yeah.
you're like, okay, they have this or they have that. So I think like it takes a certain individual to be able to be a billionaire. Like even, I mean, granted, I think they say Kanye has some kind of disorder or whatever it is, but he sacrifices everything to do what he does, right? To give out music, to you know what I mean? But he's a billionaire. So is being a billionaire really worth it in the end? For me, no. right? Because you have money to do whatever you want, but if you really don't have like a home that is loving,
it just goes back to our old conversation. Like, what is all of
enough?
that even mean if
Yeah.
you don't have that like love? Exactly.
Yeah.
Just,
Who
you
knows?
don't
Maybe I
have
might
that.
be a billionaire. I'm like, I'm just
He's like,
kidding.
everybody,
Jason
you're
was
all
on this
peasants.
podcast.
I'm just kidding. Billionaire's fun. No, but I mean, it kind of, I mean, we constantly battle that conversation. We have that conversation with almost every guest we have.
Yeah.
Like, when is enough enough? And I don't think I think you as an individual have to come up with what that answer
When
is.
enough is enough.
When even Mike said was like, there was nothing stopping me in my head. Like,
Yeah.
I was going to get to this destination, whether whoever was with me or not.
And I
And
think
he's still going.
But the
And
thing
enough
that
is
was
still
crazy
not
was
enough.
when you asked him, like, was it worth it? He said yes.
Yeah.
I don't. It's not good or bad, but it just shows
just
you
shows where his mindset
mi-
is. Yeah.
And it's the honesty
He's
in
gonna
that
be.
answer.
He could be a billionaire.
Yeah.
Oh, 1,000%.
Oh, he has billionaire mindset.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
nothing's gonna stop him.
Nothing's
No.
gonna stop
Nothing's
him.
gonna stop him.
I feel like he's already lost the greatest thing that he could have
Yeah,
lost already.
and he knows that, which
Yeah.
I think is really dope. That he still has her as like
Yeah, he still takes
his,
care of her.
you know, he still takes
Yeah.
care of her. She's part
Yeah.
business owner, and
Yeah.
just that's really cool.
Rightly so, but yeah, I mean, Succession is just a view into what it really looks like to have like a billionaire family and stuff like that, and
the cutthroatness,
Yeah, and I
right?
remember I used to be
How
like,
far are you willing to take it?
how far are you willing to take it? Like, what are you willing to sacrifice?
Yep.
Family time,
Everything is sacrifice.
siblings,
But
each other.
It's not even family at that point because
yeah.
you're
Yeah.
all playing the game. Like,
Yeah.
you're not having regular family conversations. You're
You're having billionaire
having,
conversations.
which isn't like,
You're treating it like a business. You're treating your family.
exactly.
Everything is
Yes.
but
Mm-hmm.
like when getting to that point and like when enough's enough, I think it's like you're saying, it's just a personal.
That's a personal
Yeah.
thing.
Just
At
personal
what
thing.
point?
Yeah.
Are
And
you
sometimes
okay with
enough will
capping
never
yourself?
be enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, but that's
Like, if you know you could do better,
You're always gonna
like,
want better.
You're always
Yeah.
gonna be looking at what you have as what you settled for.
right.
And, you know, because you could be seeing, like, if you settle for, I don't know what number people would consider enough, but if you could settle at a certain number, when you know you could be doing more, but you settled at a point where it was, okay, I could either lose everything or I could go after what I want, but you chose to keep what you had, you're always, I feel like there's always going to be something in the back of your head that's like, fuck.
And I
could
think
have had
that's why
this.
a lot of people also like drive themselves crazy or have mental issues or get depressed or all of these things because they're just never happy and they're never satisfied. We could look at them and be like, oh, this is a very successful person. They probably their life looks great, but mentally they're not where they want to be, right? Like, enough is never enough. And they're
Yeah.
going crazy. They're driving themselves mad. They're driving themselves crazy because they want more. They just want more. Like, they're never happy and they're never satisfied with what they have too.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the best thing is to think of it like, what am I willing to give up
Yeah.
in order for that? Like, what am I willing to sacrifice? What am I willing to give up? I know when I first opened the business, I was okay sacrificing time away from my family, but there was an end game, right? There was an end game of when my daughter was just born.
Yeah.
My wife, had delivered the baby. She was at home. I couldn't be there, but I knew I gave that up because I knew that once I got the business going. So I think a lot of these people is like, when's enough is how much are you willing to give up?
Yeah.
Are you willing to give up your kids, 4th, 5th, 6th birthdays or not be
Yeah,
there?
it's just sacrifice.
Right. To make sure they're, take care of, but then come on the back end and be there for them when they're 7, 8, 9, 10. It just, I don't judge anybody because everyone has their reasons, but I think whenever you see someone successful, instead of thinking like they're such in a place of privilege, I always think like, what do they give up?
Yep.
Like, what do they give up? Like,
Yeah.
what demons are they
Absolutely.
fighting to get there?
Yeah.
Because for a fact, unless you're
They're
handed
sacrificing
it,
something.
right? Like even I go back to like a Mark Cuban or those guys. Like,
Right.
we look at him now, like, Dad, he owns a basketball team, billionaire. But what did you give up in order to get there?
Yeah.
And there's something, either marriage. It's always something close, like family.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's always something family, or even like health. Sometimes
Yeah.
they give up their health because they just work nonstop. And it's success is crazy, man, because we're our own worst enemies. Because I would constitute myself as being successful, but then I turn on Instagram and I'm like, well, I don't have this, I don't have that. But then do I need it?
Yeah.
Right? And that's what you battle with. I think it's us ourselves that make ourselves crazy, right?
And half those people who have those nice cars and that, they don't own a house, right? They don't own anything. Like, they just have those things for show too. So I feel like sometimes, especially when it comes to Instagram, everything is just such a facade, and you can't for me, I just don't let Instagram consume me.
Right, but that's easier said than done. It's,
Yeah.
I mean, even
and again, it's
even,
just a person.
But
Yeah.
that's
Right.
also, you're very confident
That's-
in yourself.
Yeah,
And that
yeah,
aspect, too,
yeah.
A lot of people
Yeah,
aren't.
yeah, yeah.
You know?
But I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm super confident, but I'll still
Yeah.
open Instagram and be jealous.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, to be honest, I'll also
Yeah.
Instagram and be like, this motherfucker got a G-Wagon?
Yeah.
What the fuck? I know I'm probably
I look at
making
people
more.
like that, but I'm
and
just like dope because sometimes like I feel like when I see people like that, it's more inspiring in a sense because it's like how much work did they put in to get there? Like where did they start? How
Right,
did they get there?
right.
To me, I look at it as more like inspiring too. So that's why I don't let it affect
Well,
me because
it's-
I'm like I'm probably not putting in as much work as they are. That's why I'm not there. If we're gonna be completely
But
honest,
see, that's-
but
that's-
that's the reality of it.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't let it affect. Does that do you know what I make sense? Nothing is out of touch if we really think about it.
Right.
How much work it goes back into how
Right.
much work are you willing to put in? What are you sacrificing? Like
Right.
are you giving it your all?
Yeah.
Chances are no, I'm not. Like, do you see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So that's why I don't let those
But-
things like. But
Exactly.
again, it's just a different mindset, I guess, to say. But
Yeah.
yeah, I could see how it could you can be easily like, oh fuck, like. But I guess I know why, you know.
Yeah.
But there's also that on the flip side. There's the mindset of, oh, why don't I have that?
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
I should have
But
that.
Right, which I don't think.
I think
yeah.
that's okay to be. I think it's okay to be like. I kind of agree with you, but it's okay to be jealous. That's human nature. Like we're
Yeah.
jealous. We want things that people have. That's what makes us. Some people take it in the envious, where they're like, "Well, fuck that person,"
Right.
because they have that. And some people take it like, "I want to work harder." So when
Yeah,
I see
motivation.
someone,
It's used as motivation.
Yeah. So,
That's what I'm saying. For me, I
but
don't
you're
use
still-
I use it as more just like feel to just like you could do better.
but
Yeah.
you're
And
still,
you could
but you're still jealous. Like if I see someone
I
pulling,
guess it's a form
I'm still
of,
jealous.
but it's
Yeah.
in a
I'm like, damn,
not in a.
okay.
I'm still
yeah, I
jealous
get
and
it.
being like, "How'd you get that? Like, what the hell? What,
Yeah,
am I not
you're
working hard
jealous,
enough?"
but not in an envious way.
No,
Yes.
jealous. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean that, but and again, it goes to everything. And I think obviously we're older, so we kind of understand it. Ethan, you're still young, so Ethan's still trying to
Yeah.
figure it out. And I still remember when I was a trainer, and the first time I made like $2,000 a week, like as a trainer, I was like, bro, it doesn't get better than this.
Yeah.
Like this is it. I reached the holy grail.
Yeah.
Like, I've made it. And then you start hanging around people that make more, and then you're like, oh damn, okay, there's another way,
Yeah.
and there's another way, and then we get people like Mike, we get people like other guests that we had that make money, and you're like, okay.
Yeah.
But then what do you sacrifice? Right. So I think Mike touched on that a lot.
Yeah.
I think that's a good segue into another topic here, which was June being Men's Mental Health Month.
Yeah. we got no mental health shout out from anybody. I didn't get any text messages from you guys.
Hey, I made a
Happy
post the
Mental
other
Health
day.
Month.
Yeah.
Call your homies.
Emerson checking in on me at all.
I did a post on Instagram at the beginning of the month.
Did you tag me? I did my due diligence.
Men's
If you saw my story, you would thought of. Yeah.
I honestly didn't even know that was a thing.
Neither did I.
I didn't know.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know it was a thing at all. Yeah, and it was crazy because you and I shot the Father's Day thing that I posted, and that thing got like over 250 reposts.
Oh wow.
Right, like
Yeah.
people were just reposting it like crazy. So it shows that there is I'm not the only guy or man that feels that way, and I think it's
No one talks about
no
it.
one talks
No one
about.
talks about it, and it just goes into people. I think no one talks about like those things now, and I think there's just like this whole thing where like everyone's like masculinity is so toxic, right? And so like there's all of these things that are like going on right now, and I think that goes back to like no one talks about it because they feel like they can't because it's like a weak thing, which I think vulnerability and I think things like that are actually a strength. I don't think that it's a weakness.
Yeah, you hit it right there. I mean, because
I think
To
it
a
just depends.
certain-
I think it just depends on how you handle it. There's
course.
there's too many people out there that just complain. Like
Yeah,
we all
facts.
have a hard life.
I'm not saying that, but that's
Yeah.
different. But that's also that it
there's
again.
a difference
it's different.
between being vulnerable and just complaining about shit.
Exactly.
You know,
I think
Explain the
that's two
difference to
different
me.
Like,
things.
if-
Explain the difference to me.
Because so if I don't know, if I'm just like complaining, well, oh, this person texts me like complaining about, oh, I didn't like this edit, or I don't know, if you're just like whining about shit that happened
the
in your
same shit
day,
to me.
But I don't
It's
think
it's the exact same thing to me.
really.
Yes, and that's why like I do understand men's mental health, but I think only men are going to understand because real men, and this is like real men are only going to understand because I love when women go, I want a vulnerable man.
What is a real man to you?
Okay, if I want to define it, a real
Yeah.
man is he will sacrifice his mental health, his body in order to make sure his family's taken care of. That's the way I was raised. It doesn't matter.
But that's the way you were raised.
But it should be. If I have a son, that's the way he's going to be raised. If I'm not here, you're in charge of the family, and that's just what it is. Women take care of the kids. You make sure my daughter's mental well-being is good. Of course, I'm going to be there, which I am. But a lot of the loving stuff comes from you because she has to understand that, like, hey, whoever you marry should follow my footsteps, and they should make sure you're taken care of. So when someone comes to asks for my daughter's hand in marriage, the first thing I'm gonna look at is, can this guy take care of my daughter without me? And I think too many men are like, well, I think we should share the role. I think we should do this one. I don't think that should be. I don't think you marry a man and you're like, we should go 50-50 on everything.
No, I'm not saying that. But what I'm talking about is, I do feel like that there are a lot of times where men are, you know, as like growing up, like you have been like, I don't want to say trained to think, but to hold on to so many things, right? Like hold in so many emotions, hold in so many things, hold in all of your problems. And eventually I think that's what causes a lot of these mental like health issues in men, because you're holding in so much, and as a human being, you shouldn't, right? Mm-hmm. So I feel like sometimes being able to express things, whether it's to your partner or whatever, and being a little bit vulnerable in that state is okay, because it's something that's obviously, I feel like, better for your mental health, right?
So let me ask you a question. If you're married, right? You're married to an individual, and he's head of the household, I guess, if you want to call him head of the household, and he comes home and he's crying like, oh my God, babe, I lost my job. I don't know how we're going to pay for bill. And he's just crying and sobbing in your arms. You'd be like, that you would be like totally like, okay, he's vulnerable at that time. Okay, well, we're going to get this together. Or would you rather that husband have lost his job, not tell you about it, figured it out, and then told you after, hey, dude, I got fired from this job, and then I figured.
But what were you saying? Go ahead.
I 100% agree that first guy, like walking through the door crying,
but he's showing his vulnerability.
I don't think that's showing his vulnerability.
There's levels to vulnerability, though.
That's too much.
See,
that's too much.
You're peeling this as this is an onion now. Like there's so many layers when it should be
there's so many layers of everything.
But there should be black and white.
But at the same time, I don't think that you should be hiding things. I don't think that you should just like, oh, I lost my job, let me try to figure it out. Because guess what? Now you're holding on to stress. Maybe you're coming home angry. Maybe you're not coming home. Maybe you're dealing with it all the wrong way, when really you could have came home, maybe not cry and sob, but like, hey, this is what's going on. And then what are we going to do? Like, but don't worry, like, I got it. I'm going to figure it out. You know what I mean? And we're going to figure it out together. I'm not saying come home and cry, but we can talk about it. There's a way to talk about it in a, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think a man should be able to be in a vulnerable spot with the person that they're with.
Absolutely.
Right? So I'm not saying like, you show face, you have to do what you have to do outside those doors. But when you come into our home, I hope you're not like crying, but this is our safe space. So what happens between me and my husband, if there's a situation, good or bad, it's like, you can let go of all those barriers here. And when we leave this house, I got your back, you got my back.
Yeah.
Well, that's a non-negotiable. You're married. But I mean, who creates that safe space? Your husband does. Your husband creates a safe space for you. So now you don't have a safe space because he's coming home and telling you about everything that's going wrong,
but
instead of fixing it.
You should equally be able to hold the safe.
You would think so, but if someone broke into the house, whose responsibility is it to go figure out, like, hey, someone broke into the house, there's a guy out there with a gun. Are you being like, hey, babe, you go? No, you're sending the man. Yeah. The man is the one that creates a safe space, no matter what you want to think,
but again,
no matter how you want to think it.
Just the levels of like different situations and things you're talking about, because there's.
I think it encompasses everything. I think if you want a nice household, the wife or the woman's responsibility is to love and
of course.
To
I don't
nurture.
think the man should be weak. Obviously, the man is obviously masculine for a reason, right? They're head of the household. You are a man for a reason. But I think that there are things, like I said, there are levels to like the vulnerability. I'm not saying come home, cry to me. I'm not saying just like be a little bit like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But like, obviously, because
but
you
open
are
up
the
to
strength.
me about the problem.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm aware of that.
I am the safe space too.
This is what I'm going through. This shit sucks, but I'm not going to stop because I can take it.
Now,
so now you want like you can get through anything.
So now you want both of us to be stressed and both of us worrying about something when I know when I'm the one taking care of it. Like what's the point of me coming home?
But if I'm trusting you as the man, right?
Then you know I got it.
Exactly.
Right? Then what's the point of me coming and complaining to you about it?
So I don't think that it's complaining. I think it's called communication.
See, and this is where I have inner conflict.
I think you're coming to me and you're communicating about the issue.
Because you're going to have to release the stress
in you
somewhere.
Because you are the man, that you're going to get through it.
Men release stress different. I mean? See, that's what I think. I think women's confusion is men release stress entirely different than you guys.
Which is probably true. I'm not a man.
Yeah.
Men release stress either doing like, it could be like Gil working on his car, me working out, sex. That's a release of stress that I don't need to have a conversation with you. That resets my buttons for me. And I think you guys are thinking in terms of women. We need to talk it out. We need to have this. We need to have this. This is how we're going to release stress if we do it together, if we hold our hand.
Yeah.
But really, now what I'm doing is I'm compromising our household by now adding more stress to you when there's nothing you can do about it, right? There's nothing you can do. Now you're worried, right? So now you're not sleeping. So you're either sleep deprived yourself. So the household isn't either getting, I'm not saying that they have to clean, but the baby's not right,
getting clean.
right? I'm just saying, let's just say like a stay-at-home mom, household isn't getting clean. You're tired because you're worried, because you'd be worried, right? If I came home, Gil came home and said, I lost my job, right? We just got to, I lost my job. What do we do? You'd be like, well, fuck, you're the captain of the ship. You tell me. Now you're not sleeping. Now Dacia is not getting that.
We're not saying come home and say, what do we do? Because we trust you, right? It's
Okay,
like
but
being
how
honest with
about,
what
how about a
happened.
single man? This is where we're going. Okay, how about a single man who has no support, and how do they release their stress for their mental health, right? Because it's a different situation.
True.
So that
Yes.
situation's different for the 55% of people who aren't in a relationship
or who aren't married.
How do they release that
exactly.
in a healthy way? Like you just said, I go to the gym and that's
Because they're
Sex
not
and
all,
go to the
they're not
gym.
all married. They're not all in relationships,
But you
right?
don't have to be married to go to the
For
gym or
me-
have sex.
Before I
That's
got
how you deal with it.
No, I'm just kidding.
before I got into a relationship, that was my biggest struggle, because because of how I was raised, no room for emotion. Just whenever bad shit happens, you just repress it deep down inside and fucking deal with it. And I'm glad that I was raised like that, because now I can handle shit nowadays that I would fucking lose my shit about if it hadn't been for how I grew up. So I'm very grateful for that.
See, I'm not to cut you off,
But on the other side, what?
But I think you use that word repression. Like, it's not that obviously you have stuff built out, but it's not like it's like, because I've been doing it for so long, it's not like, oh my God, it's built up and I'm going to explode. No, I know how to release
For
it.
you,
but also,
though.
no, but I think that's a lot of guys, if they're in the right situation and knowing what works for them. Obviously, yeah, you're right. But
I wasn't one of the guys.
right. But now, how long ago was that?
That was like 4-5 years ago.
Right. How old are you?
I'm 26.
Yeah. So that's right about the age when you started figuring out like, hey, life comes at you fucking fast.
Yeah.
Like you got to handle situations.
And when I was 21, the way I dealt with stress I wasn't going to the gym at that time. I didn't have a healthy group of people around me that I could go to. And I just turned to whatever substance would numb it, or, I was just chasing a distraction, just a different high every
And that was
single
because
time.
you felt like you couldn't.
And that was because
you were just trying to hold it all in.
I was
You were just trying to be the
hold it all.
man.
Like I didn't have.
It's a dopamine release.
Exactly.
Same thing with gym or sex. It's dopamine release.
Yeah, I didn't have any healthy outlet to, and I don't even necessarily mean a conversation. I just mean I didn't have a healthy outlet.
What would you consider a healthy outlet now?
Sex, gym, I don't know. But,
See, hey, guys. I'm telling you, guys are not
because I don't want to have a fucking conversation. Even in a relationship, I don't want to have a conversation about every single thing that bugs me. I would lose my absolute shit. Like I
right.
So then, my question is this:
babe.
we're having mental health awareness, right, for men.
Yes.
So then, what is the solution for mental health?
The solution for mental health is surround
It's
yourself
not sex
with.
and it's not.
No, go ahead.
Right.
Go ahead. You're good.
Surround yourself with a good group of guys
Right.
who thinks the same way that you do.
Okay.
Who are living a life that you want to live.
Now, are
And a
you
group-
having these conversations with them though?
Yes,
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
100%.
Well, here's
So I'm not saying like
100%.
it doesn't
Me and
have to
Riley,
be with
like-
your
So you
significant
still have
other.
an outlet
You're
to
still
talk
having an
about
outlet. So
the
that's still a
situation.
vulnerable outlet
But
though. You're still
the difference-
confiding in them. So maybe you're not vulnerable with me, but you're vulnerable to somebody, correct?
Because the conversation that
Yes.
I have with Riley be like, hey, bro, like, I just need to vent real quick. This is shit I'm going through.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not like
Right.
oh, well, maybe you need to explore this. It's not like,
God,
these
yes.
emotions are.
Right.
It's like, okay, well,
A
so
guy's
fucking what? What are you
conversation.
going to fucking do about it? Like,
Right.
Yeah.
But you're
it's
still
that-
expressing how you feel and you're letting it out. You're not
Yes.
holding it
No,
inside.
you're
That's
100%
what
right.
I'm
You're
saying.
100%
That's what
right.
I'm saying is so it's maybe not being vulnerable to like a significant other. That was just an example, right? When
Right.
you're in a
Yeah.
relationship, because not everyone. But it is you're being vulnerable to somebody, to the
Yes.
situation.
Yeah.
You're not crying about it. You're expressing how you feel, and then you're going to come up with a solution.
Right.
I'm letting it out in
You're
a
letting
way
it out,
that
exactly.
I know no one's going to take anything personally or
Exactly. It's a
take
safe
it
space.
emotionally.
No,
It's
right,
a
but-
safe
Exactly.
space.
But
Safe space.
yeah,
But-
it's a safe space. But I think in the world we're in today, like a lot of like women, I'm just gonna say women in general, they want to know. They want to like.
Yeah,
tell
I
me
get it.
When I really feel there's no need for like your significant other, your boyfriend, your girlfriend to really
Right.
know everything that's going on. As far as
Right.
like what right? Oh my God, I had to
Yeah, because some like your stressors don't need to be their stressors.
Right, there's
That's the-
something
that's the
right,
way I
but I
feel.
think for me, what like with the conversation we were talking, it's just being vulnerable in the state, right? Expressing
Having
how
some
you
kind of
feel.
an outlet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just
Sometimes men
communicate.
don't.
They don't.
I would say
Exactly.
for mental health awareness, get in some kind of a workout routine. I mean, I think that's above everything. I think it's either if you're not into weightlifting, if you box, if you play tennis, if you
Just
golf,
something
whatever,
like a
something
hobby.
physical. I would say more physical than anything, because there's something about like. Or something about like hitting pads or hitting a bag or sparring that just
release.
Just to release,
Yeah.
right?
100%.
I think you 100% have to do that. And then kind of what Ethan said, you need a group of guys. Like I'm very fortunate that I have like a couple, and I think even you and I have called each other without you guys, right? We've solved some stuff and we vented to each other. And why did I go to Ethan? I've known you longer because I feel like Ethan and I could be like, hey, let's just have this man-to-man talk.
Yeah.
Let's figure this shit out.
Yeah.
You good? I'm good. Okay, let's move on.
Yeah.
Where I can't exactly have that conversation all the time with
Yeah.
people. And then I think the group could either be like, a lot of churches have men's groups.
Yeah.
Men's groups. But for me, like.
But it's an outlet, right? That's a way for you
Right.
to be
That
vulnerable,
is
and
the
that is a
outlet.
way for you to express
Right.
how you're feeling, and you're still letting it out. You're
Yeah.
not holding it in.
I think I just think like, especially men that I've seen nowadays, or the way it's trending to be a man. I know a lot of women think they want that, but really when shit hits the fan, you
Then
don't
you're
want that.
like, you don't want to worry.
You-
I get
you
it.
don't want
Because
that.
even
And
for me, I'm like, I want to like.
I want
for-
a vulnerable man. I want him to tell me you
And
really
here's the
don't.
thing is I tell you, like when we had this conversation about like the type of man, you're like, what kind of man? I want someone that I can feel safe with, right? And someone that can protect me, because I don't have my dad around. But I also want somebody who is going to be honest with me about things, and because we're a team at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like you should hide things from me. I don't want you to cry to me, obviously. I don't want you to come home crying. But I
Yeah.
do want you to express certain things how you're feeling, because if you're coming home angry, you're coming home stressed. If we're
I
having
don't know
issues
why.
because you're holding things and I don't know why, that's a problem. But if you come to me and you communicate with me like, hey, A, B, and C is going on, but it's fine. Like, I got it, because no matter what, I'm going to trust you because you're my safe
Right,
place.
right.
Then that's okay, right? Like, you're
Yeah.
still expressing.
But also at the same time, when I go home, that is my stress relief.
Yeah.
So do I want to go home and now my stress relief is coming home to my family, but now my family's stressed out. So
Right.
now I'm stressed out.
But at least-
you're stressed
right.
out, right? If it's something that like you have no control, like you have no control over what happens at your
Absolutely.
husband's work, you have nothing. Right. So him stressing you out like, hey, I fucked up. I potentially have to go in. I potentially may get fired. If I get fired, then I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start applying at jobs right now. Now what are you thinking? You're worried as shit. You're like, fuck, okay, we got a mortgage, we got a baby,
Right.
we got this. Instead of just figuring it out, doing it, and then be like, damn, damn.
It's crazy because Gil would have told me probably 2 days after, like after.
100%.
Yeah, after he
it's figured
it
out.
Yeah.
Because Gil's.
He'd be like, I'm a little stressed. There's some stuff going. Like he would
That's
give me
what I
like
was
but
saying.
he's
the
letting you
gray
know that there's
area.
some stress going on.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like I could feel like you. Like if I came
Yeah.
home, like we're married, and I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of stressed. Well, what happened? Just some stuff at work. Well, like tell me, and I'm like, damn, we're good. Like trust me, I'll take care of it.
Yeah.
Because there's been times where she's like my wife, I'll come home and she'd be like, how's work? I go, oh, it's good. I'm just a little tired. She's like, oh, did you go to the gym? No, why don't you just go to the gym? Because she knows like, okay, something's off. Well, yeah, why don't you just go to the gym, come back? And always when I come back from the gym, always I'm like, yeah, there's some things going on, but I already got it handled. Even if
But
it's
see, if
work.
you already got it handled, okay, that's a different
I don't
thing.
Though. I don't though. But I'm working towards getting it handled.
Even if it's not handled, it's handled.
But you're telling her, but you see, you're communicating with her that there's something going on. You're stressed about something, but you already got it handled.
Yeah.
So whether
But
or
I
not
don't,
you
but
still,
yeah.
right, you don't have it
But
handled.
I'm gonna figure it out.
But you're
Yeah.
letting
Yeah.
her know why you're stressed, but you got it figured
Yeah.
out. So now she knows
Yes.
why you have this attitude, or why you're being
Yeah.
stressed, or why you're being grumpy. She knows now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And
But as long as you have an outlet, like your group of guys,
Yeah.
and you are like letting it out somewhere, that's all I'm saying. Like just having like a safe place to let out whatever it is that you're
Yeah.
going through,
Right.
so that you're not holding it in.
Because it is harder for men to find
Yes,
that
to find that.
space.
And a lot of men, they are like I said, you were growing up, you're just like, you gotta no crying. Like men aren't allowed to cry. Men are allowed to, like, you gotta be manly, right? But like, and some men don't even express how they feel or express these problems to like their friends. And so they hold it in. And I feel like that causes a lot of like mental health
But
issues.
see, it makes me, I don't want to say it makes me angry, but I always look kind of sideways when the reason why we do that is for you.
Yeah.
Right. It's for your own peace. Because when you get married to me or you get
I'm
married
not
to a
talking
man.
about even being in a relationship, just men in general. Men who aren't even in relationships.
For the sake of, because I hear a lot, like even we were at a wedding and one person was like, I want a vulnerable guy. I want a sensitive guy. And I'm like, you say that now. Right. You 100% say that now, and you want him to confide in you and stuff. But to me, like the whole point of, like, again, I'm referring to marriage or relationship, is you get with that guy because you know it's going to be taken care of. Right. The same way I know if I get with my wife, I know my family is going to be, raised in the way I want them to. Things are going to be taken care of. I have a support system in her if I need it. But really, the man should be the safe space.
Right.
That's the way it's just the way I believe it.
I
Like,
agree.
right. So a man coming home and complaining about what his day was. I mean, trivial stuff. Yeah. Hey, I had this running.
Of course.
But like, hey, dude, like we could like, for instance, like during the vid, right? They told me you got to shut down your gym. You have to go outside. I literally took 2 seconds before I started making calls. I got 10. And again, this is my wife's birthday weekend that we already have planned in Huntington Beach because that's the only thing open.
Right.
Right. She's like, hey, I'm so excited. I said, oh, I am too. I'll be home a little bit later. I got to take care of some stuff. Okay. She's already packed. I'm on the phone calling tent companies, calling security companies, scheduling myself to go.
Black Diamond.
Right. Black Diamond took care of me. Black Diamond is it entertainment? Black Diamond events, whatever they are.
They really did help us out.
Tag them. They hooked me up. I had to go find more equipment. I had to get people in there to help, had to have trainers to help me carry equipment out there. She knew none of this until about 2 weeks after.
Yeah.
She's like, you moved your gym outside? I'm like, yeah. She goes, when? I said, during the weekend.
She's like, I just saw it on Instagram.
Yeah,
today.
she did. She just saw it on Instagram. The day of her thing. I'm like, what's the point of me calling you on your birthday weekend, complaining about stuff, ruining the weekend? Because what would have happened? She would have been so worried. Are we losing the gym? Are we not going to lose the gym? Got taken care of. And plus, I didn't have the stress of being in her presence and her being like, well, so is everything okay?
Yeah.
Are you okay? I don't need that because I'm just getting on the phone handling things. So even when we got to the hotel, I said, hey, let me take care of a couple more things. I want to go to the lobby. You guys go to the pool. I think the pool is, the beach. You guys go to the beach. I'll meet you guys there.
Yeah.
And I was literally on Wi-Fi in there, handling shit, paying bills, doing stuff to get it situated.
I guess we don't, and you're right. Like, I guess sometimes we don't, like, as women, we don't look at that because we have such a nurturing, like, natural, like, we just want to, like, help, right? We want to be nurturing to that.
Yeah.
So I think when you hear those things, it's like we just automatically, we don't think about those things, obviously, because, like I said, we just have such a nurturing, like, ability where we feel like, okay, like, what's going on? We want to help too. But, yeah, so I can see that. I think I totally agree with you in that aspect. But, again, obviously you eventually let her know. That's
because those were take care of her.
Yeah.
But I mean, what I was getting to before I told that story was, I feel like a lot of women nowadays don't appreciate that.
Yeah.
They don't appreciate the fact that, that's why I said, like, we sacrifice our mental, we sacrifice our body, right? Granted, like, I think like that's a very underappreciated trait in a man that could absorb so much to make sure that your life is running the way it should be
smoothly
because he cares, right? Like that's so
Stress-free.
unappreciated because then you hear a girl like, well, I want a sensitive guy, and you're like, well, okay, well, you don't want a guy that literally just goes and handles everything for you.
Complaining, all he does is
complain, right? Like,
and I think it goes back to our conversation when Rocky was here. We're like, why do girls always choose the assholes, or why do they end up with like, it's true. And then my thing was like, I don't necessarily want an asshole, or like, but I do want somebody that is a strong man and who I feel like can take care of me and I feel safe with. Yeah.
Right. And that's what it comes. And I think the whole mental health thing comes from like single guys.
There's a lot of stress and pressure on you guys.
Stress. It's like you got to be tough. You got to be able to take care of family. You got to be able to fight. Yeah. You got to be able to financially stable, right? Like.
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah, and I always tell guys that are single guys, and if you're looking for like I guess the word high value has been thrown out there a lot. So if you're looking for a high value woman, I don't think there's anything wrong saying that you need to make yourself high value. You need to get your bank account up. You need to get your body looking good. You need to take care of yourself because that's what men's currency is where they are financially. It doesn't really matter about looks, to be honest with you, because I've seen it. Women's currency to me is like, obviously you want to be with someone that looks good, but also someone that is, to me, this is for me, is nurturing, is loving, is stuff like that, because you want to come home to that. Right. So we all have our currency. So instead of saying like, oh my God, like nobody likes me or I can't find a date, well, maybe you should make yourself a little bit more valuable.
Yeah.
Right.
It's very true.
And look inward instead of saying it's everyone else.
Instead of saying it's everyone else, like, oh, you don't date me because I'm overweight, and you're like, well, yeah, like I don't want to, like that's not a high value person to me, right? And again, taking that from Andrew Tate, and I think that's why a lot of men gravitate towards him because it makes sense to us. It makes sense. Like I've worked so hard to get my degree or to build this business to make this. I'm not going to go for like any woman. I'm going to go for someone that compliments me. Right now, if I work, no shade to McDonald's because I worked at McDonald's, but if I work at McDonald's and I'm a manager there and I'm 42 years old, right? I'm not going to be like, I want the highest value woman. Like, I feel like it's okay to say like you have brackets. Like there's a place for you.
No matter what, your partner is a reflection of who you are at the same time too, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree.
People resonate with that. Even when I did like, hey, we sacrifice our mental health and this and that. Like I kind of thought like, oh, I hope people understand what they mean. And sure as shit, a lot of men, 200 and something of them, there were some women reposted it on their page. Like what I loved is like I was going through and I saw some wives, they reposted it. Like they tagged their husband like, hey, this is for you. Thank you so much. That's a fucking good wife to me. because she understands the sacrifice. And you see a lot of guys like, hey, this is what we don't talk about and stuff like that, because it is. If you see a cohesive family, there's the dad doing, I mean, not in all cases, but mostly like he's in charge of the financial, he's in charge of the safety, and the woman's in charge of the household, meaning like, I want to come home and feel like that love there. Right. And so I think somewhere along the lines, we got like these roles reversed, or maybe you should share this role. I don't want my wife to have my role, you know, and I don't want to, and vice versa. I feel like it's easier in a marriage when you both have your roles, and it's so hard to say because some women are like, no, it should be equal.
Honestly, I understand that. I do agree with you, and I think that sometimes, especially with this whole like feminine, you know, like woman power thing going on. At the same time, I do think that like when strong women, like all of these things, right? But I do think that it's also important, like I said, it just goes back to like that safety issue. Like I don't want to be the man in the relationship, right? Like I want to work and still do my thing because it's stuff that I'm passionate about or whatever, but like I'm not trying to run anything. I'm not trying to be the boss in the relationship. I want you to be like, I can be submissive, right? Like I like that word that people don't like to use
Cam,
that,
right?
But even that's considered like a bad word, right?
That's what I'm saying. That word is so considered so bad, but like I think it's because at the same time too, though, I want to be like that, but also your partner has to be able to provide that safe space so you can feel
100%.
comfortable.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like I want to feel comfortable. Like I want to trust you. Like I want to feel like I can be in that safe place where like, okay, you got it. Like, and then you know what I mean? I feel like that's also important too. So it is important for your man to make you feel safe and to make you feel like you can be submissive because like you got me.
Right. And it kind of goes back to like, even I always refer back to that conversation we had with Mike. It goes both ways, right? What did he say? I never went home and told my wife like, oh, you're beautiful, or thank you so much for raising the kids, because that's hard. But at the same time, it's almost like how many times, and again, I don't know, did she tell him, dude, thank you for building this empire for us? Like, who knows if she ever said that? And I think that's where like the communication breakdown comes from.
Communication,
like, you come
it's so
home
important.
and I'm thinking like, I just literally worked my ass off for this business, and she's thinking, well, I just took care of the kids, and it's like this one outweigh the other. No, but it's like taking time to be like, hey, thank you so much for, I would like, sometimes I'll come home, the house will be clean, and I'm like, hey, thank you so much for cleaning, like it makes me feel better, or hey, thank you for putting the baby to bed, or hey, you look really good, let me, you know, stuff like that. And then she'll be like, hey, thank you so much for working long, you know, I know you're doing a lot, I know you're trying to do stuff,
like
but
that,
it took
you guys have that. You guys have that relationship. I think that's important. And a lot of relationships don't have that. People just start resenting, like, especially in relationships, like you come home late, but you don't say anything. You're not like appreciating what the woman just did for you. You're not, you know what I mean?
It does go both ways.
Then you start building that resentment, and then you're just angry. And then that, I feel like that is like the break to a lot of relationships. When that simple communication between you two, like just that, what you did, what you text your wife, like, thank you for this. Those little tiny things, they do go a long way, I think. And just that little communication piece is what so many relationships are missing.
Yeah. And it's crazy too, because I mean, like going back to like the roles, like she works a 9-to-5 corporate job, like she manages, but she like still will come home and she'll clean everything, do laundry, and she like, I'm sorry, just chill, relax. She's like, no, I want, because I know that she knows like, hey, look it, this
you
is
do
like
this,
you do this, I do this, you do this, I do this, you do this, you know. And so it's like the roles are there, and I think some people are so afraid to be like, this is my role, or I am a submissive wife and whatever reason, but that adds to the man's safe space. You know, like I have a submissive wife, not like, hey, I'm going to use you and cheat on you and do whatever I want. But it's like, hey, I come home and all the trials and tribulations of the world and people telling me this or people telling me that, I come home and I have you. Yeah. And that's very undervalued.
I agree.
So like guys out there that have that, I know the grass seems greener on the other side sometimes. Go see a girl with maybe a bigger booty, a prettier face or whatever. But if you have that at home, like Mike said, you value that. You take that, and same thing with the woman. If you have a guy and you're complaining because he goes to work every day, he busts his ass, he comes home, maybe he is tired, wants to chill on the couch. Yeah. Maybe he does want to watch a game or do something like that, but he's not going out. He's not like disappearing and not messaging you. He's not getting drunk every night. He's not, you know what I mean? Like, I think that you should really go up to him and be like, hey, thank you so much for what you do for the family.
Yeah, of course.
Right? Because I think we just think like, oh, the husband should come home and he's going to do this and this, and we think that. It's like, man, if you have peace at your house, value that.
100%.
And then there's just
so
but then
much.
there's men that create their own chaos, right?
Yeah, those guys are idiots. So.
That's what and then they wonder why their woman doesn't want to be submissive. And then they wonder why their woman doesn't like is disrespectful because you didn't you lost their respect. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
100%.
men's mental health. June, shout out all the men out there.
Yeah, but shout out to the men. You
That
guys
was-
do have a lot of shit on your back. For sure.
But I think it goes both ways, right? Women
Yeah,
have a lot, and
we do.
And like I used to be like, oh my god, all you do is stay. Like not to my wife, but like I would have friends that have kids, and their wives would be home, and I'm like, why are you so tired? Like all you do is take care of kids until you have a kid.
That's a job in
exhausting.
itself.
And then you're like, oh my,
You appreciate them
God.
more. Like,
Yeah. So like, shout out to all the like the stay-at-home moms or the moms. And there's so many moms that have like, there's one of my friends. She has like 3-4 kids, and she always is doing stuff with them on the weekend. I mean, they're great kids, and it's like, I value her. Like, I'm like, damn, you're a good woman. Like
being a mom is a job in itself. It's another role, especially a mom who has that many kids and is still working too.
And not only that, but like she does like crap. Like even my wife does. Like she does craft with her kids. Like, she takes them out places. Like it's harder than it looks, dude.
Yeah,
100%.
It's harder than it looks to get a kid ready for anything. So like every time I see her stories, I'm always like, gosh, that's a great wife. That's a great wife. Like I can see why she got married. I can see why her husband wifed her up, because those I feel are hard to find. But she understands her role. She understands what part of the team she plays on, right? Like it goes back to like everyone wants to be the quarterback and be the star, but someone needs to snap the ball to get the game started.
Facts.
Right? The center, how much
True.
love does the center get? But
Yeah.
they hold that whole thing together. Before it'd be like, oh my God, my wife's so hot because she always has a tan, her nails done and her hair done. And now it's like, God, my wife's so hot because she
She's
cleaned the
taking care
house.
of
and
the
she-
kids, taking care.
For
Yeah.
real.
There's something I'm
It's
telling
the-
you,
it's
like,
the
and I'm
little
pretty sure
things.
guys that are married or listening, you come home, there's something sexy about like your wife, like taking care of your kid. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Like sometimes I'll come home and my wife's brushing my daughter's hair, and those are like my best memories. I'm like, I know she worked 9 to 5. I know she put up with a lot of shit. Then she comes home and she's either like cleaning or she's doing my daughter's hair. Like that's like your new sexy. That's your new like, damn, okay, I got a good woman. Where before to be like, oh, is she tan? Does she do her nails? Does she do her toes?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What's her fit look like?
Yeah.
And then you get like other responsibilities, and you're like, no, you know what's sexy is a woman that loves her family and takes care of her kids.
I agree.
I agree with that.
That's the new sexy. I know there's like 20-year-old girls out there like, well, you tripping.
For sure.
All right, are we good? Or you got anything else on there?
Fuck, I mean,
I think we hit all the
I feel
points.
like
Yeah, I think we hit all the points.
Because
Uh-huh.
everything else after this, I feel like
Another
this is,
rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Another rabbit hole.
Yeah, so let's end this podcast with let's just saying, don't go on a submarine ride that has duct tape.
Yep.
That has
Be
duct tape.
smarter
Don't
with
go on a
your
submarine.
exploration.
Yes.
Don't trust the government.
Don't trust
No,
Trust
the
the
government
government.
is in our best
and
interest.
appreciate
Yeah.
a good man and woman.
Appreciate
Yes.
a hardworking woman and a hardworking man.
Yes,
Across the board.
absolutely.
'Cause
Across the
they
board.
are hard to come by.
Yes.
Until next time.
See ya.